told you life was gonna be this way. Your life's a joke, you broke, your love life's DOA.
Hi everyone, I am Sam Bettens, trans man and musician. It's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit in the desert today, and we are celebrating the release of Run, first album of Rex Rebel, on our rooftop with champagne. Say hello to my wife Steph, everybody.
Hi.
In all honesty, there was no other way I could get her up here unless there was champagne involved to answer questions. So, without further ado, here we go.
Hit me.
All right, question number one from Angel. Does your new straight, whatever that means, status reassure you when you go together in public? Is it easier for you to say, I introduce you to my husband, than it was before when you had to say, my wife? Or is that not important to you?
It's not important to me. I already spent a decade or nearly two getting used to saying my wife or holding hands and thinking people might look a little bit. So it's not like I was hoping for it and, oh, that'll be so much better. That'll be great. We could just walk around like a heterosexual couple. But it is sort of fun sometimes. I went to a new hair place yesterday and I said my husband, and I thought, oh, that's good. She doesn't have
Easy.
I don't have to wonder whether she's thinking something or is going to give me like a really butch lesbian haircut. Maybe if I said my wife, get a girlier haircut.
No offense to anyone with a butch lesbian
Oh,
haircut,
sorry.
by the way.
I'm not very good at this. I like it. I like being having a mom and a dad for the kids. I think it's fun. But I was fine being two moms too, and I don't feel very different. I thought I would. I bought some sundresses. I kind of got a few pedicures in a row. I'm going to do this heterosexual woman thing, but really we're just kind of who we are. Nothing's really changed.
From Lisa. How has the way you see Sam changed since the transition? In what ways is it the same? My wife's question was, ask her if she makes him carry heavy stuff now.
I do make sure that he takes out the trash. I don't usually have to ask. Maybe I've never asked, but if I see it really full, I'm definitely leaving it now that I have a man.
I was already pretty good
Sometimes. You're pretty good at it, but now you're 100%.
True.
And some other fun things about having a husband have come up. I don't know, getting up early to take someone to the airport, it's the man. Like, those things I already enjoyed them, but I really enjoy them now.
Do you see me as a man now, or do you still see me as you've always seen me?
I think some of the guy-like things about you, and by that I mean like so energetic and driven and burn the candle at both ends. Like, I'm gonna work out in the morning, be done by 6 so I can work all day. Those make sense. Like, that's what guys do sometimes. They bust their asses.
From Thrillerlezer, how is your health? Do you think about the 5-year cancer-free mark? Was it hard to know that Sam wanted the top surgery, and did it affect you?
I'm really glad someone asked this because it comes up every once in a while, usually in a negative thing, like, that's nice, you know, after you went through breast cancer, which I did 2 years ago, and a reconstruction with some complications and kind of a summer of not great health two years ago, almost 2 years ago. Just a small side note, my sister had breast cancer 20 years ago, and I used to think I'll never do anything with my breasts, like consider a reconstruction or something, because it would be so unfair to her that she went through it medically and I would just cosmetically decide to do that, or not that I would, but I always thought that would be a deal killer, even if, you know, someone offered me a free boob job, which no one did. But this is so different. I went through it medically, Sam went through it medically, and it was a problem. So it's the same thing as having cancer in that it's medical, and yeah, one's life-threatening and one's mentally exhausting and frustrating, and dysphoria is as real as cancer. And about me and the 5-year mark, I haven't been a big worrier about cancer at all, really. I didn't think about, I'm gonna get it, even though it's a strong family history. And then when I got it, we had some panic, but then mostly we were like, all right, we'll just get through this. And I don't think about it very much more than I did before. I'm not looking for the 5-year mark, and I don't know my anniversary, and I don't celebrate it, and that's just not really how we are with negative or positive, like checking milestones. And
Yeah, I think in general we're both people who like to move forward and look ahead, and
we just naturally do, even if we don't say like we like to. We just forget, oh, that was our date, that was the anniversary of this or that. Or
But we do like to celebrate milestones, even if we don't remember dates, like the release of Run,
Plug.
and also, we did have, I don't know whether we did it on a weekend or we had a moment where we're like, let's really think about how lucky we are that this is over, that everyone's healthy now, and that we can move forward and really kind of like take a second, slow down, and appreciate what we have.
That we did. And another thing that's kind of cool about it is during the time I had breast cancer, and before that, my mom passed away after long illness that took a lot out of us, caring for her and things. It was always me needing the strong support of you. And then at some point you said, I kind of need you to be the strong one for me. Like, this is going to be a road. And I remember we went away and we talked about it. And we said, like, all right, I'm going to be there for you now. I'm going to really understand this and get behind it. And it was nice to have the give and take that you have when you've been together a long time. So cancer in that way was a positive because you really took care of me. Pretty well for a guy.
From Genevieve, do you feel straight now or still gay or pan? Has the transition changed it for yourself or for the people around you?
I think I kind of already said it for me that it hasn't really changed that much. I think becoming a lesbian, like having been heterosexual for the most part, and then meeting Sam almost 20 years ago and saying like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be gay. I'm going to be a gay parent. This is my life now. I'm going to get bullied, teased, my kids. That was really hard. Going the other way is not really a big deal at all. What was the other part of it?
Well, whether you're we're only halfway through it, and already we're just like,
wait, what?
barely hanging in there. We've talked about like, does this mean we present as a straight couple in some situations, but I guess we're queer. I know you don't like that word, but this is kind of like the community that we're part of now. And I don't feel like any regular cisgender straight couple on the street. But you had to kind of redefine for yourself, like, what does it mean? Like, am I still a lesbian?
Yeah,
like,
I thought I would, and then it really doesn't change anything. Okay, but it's like, okay, the people you hang out with, like our best friend couples are one lesbian couple, one heterosexual couple that we kind of do stuff a lot, and then they see us the same because they already knew you and they knew us. Then there's the whole like, oh, it's a new soccer season, new coaches. How is that fitting in? And that's been actually the most awkward, is like the acquaintance. So you walk down the street, you hold hands, that's great because you're a man and a woman, fine. But and you're good friends, that's also fine because they knew you before, and so they accepted you as a gay couple, they accept you as a queer spectrum couple. But the in-between people that are kind of like, are you sure you're a man and a woman? Because I'm not sure I'm all the way buying into it yet. Like, that's been more awkward. That reminds me the most of being gay in Tennessee and having to be the different people. We're the different people when you're not, what's it called again? Stealth? Passing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's mostly hard. That's the hardest, not with strangers, but with people you're going to have a relationship with going forward. You just don't really know whether you should just say it. Like, by the way, we're not the couple that we're not gay, we're not cis, straight. Like,
sometimes when we come into new situations, like if kids have their first soccer practice or something and you're meeting new people, meeting a new coach, I usually make it a point to say, hi, I'm Sam, I'm Jet's dad. I just kind of, like, because if they hear my voice and they think, oh, maybe it's just like a masculine woman and it's a lesbian couple, then maybe they could have some doubts. And so I often make a point of saying it so that there's no confusion.
And that's exactly what we had to do with the big kids, is like, we're Justin's parents. This is Sarah. She'll be picking up the kids as well. Otherwise, they think you're sisters or the nanny or
roommates.
Yeah. So that's the most similar and awkward thing about it, I think.
Yep. From Tara J. In which things do you notice, big or small, that Sam is becoming more and more like himself and happier all the time? Drinking habits?
I'm noticing it, and it's fun. You're very comfortable and grateful for what you have. Grateful for the added strength You're grateful that every time a guy shakes your hand, hey dude, how's it going? That we run into, and he does that to you, like, you love it. You love being considered a guy instead of like the awkward, not really a mom, look like a guy. So I think I love that for you, that you can start to relate to the guys you want to be like, or your peers.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest one, that and your top surgery. That's just made you so excited. And it doubled the amount of sports bras I have. Actually tripled, because you buy way more than I do. I got all of that, all the legging, tights, whatever that you sometimes wore. So I like it that you've gone all the way to the guy clothes, and I get to take everything else. And everything that's now too small for your giant
Right.
muscles.
My giant muscles.
You look happy. You're happy. And I should be serious. You seem happy. Too happy. Chipper. Extra chipper. Annoyingly chipper.
There was a question here from Leslie Starnes, but Leslie, just call us if you have a question. Next question from Eileen. Did you somehow see it coming, and were you afraid of how others would react?
I didn't see it coming until I saw it coming. So, like, I wasn't thinking for years, it's possible that Sarah is trans. We both kind of live in the dark of things, and then all of a sudden we're enlightened, like, oh, we are gay. Look at that. Turns out.
What do you know? It turns out.
But when you first said, I think I'm going to call our friend who's transgender and just feel like, what does he feel? Like, am I way off? That's when I started to see, like, ooh, you are fitting in exactly with him, a transgender guy we know, and none of the lesbians are feeling what you're feeling. So then it started to hit me like, this could be really it. And then I went through a time where I was sick of it. Like, oh, let's talk about that again. Let's talk about trans. Let's make a phone call. Like, it's like someone who starts a new workout and you're like, I don't need to know how many sit-ups you did today, which that also happens. And then I read something great about a wife of a trans person who said, like, I wasn't really that supportive looking back. I tried to be. I went through the motions, but I didn't feel it. And I thought, that's not going to be me. If this is going down, or we need to make a decision of whether or not it is, I'm going to be there. And that was great. I think I went away a little bit, like 1 mile down the road to Starbucks with my journal and tried to work through it. Like, how do you really get inside someone's head and say, this is important to you, this is real, don't go through the motions, get there. And then it really was us going through it together. I don't feel like you dragged me through. You sat me down and said, I'm really going to do this. We both sort of, like, one day we felt like, yeah, I think it's going to happen. I did not think about what people would think. I thought our big kids would never be like, you don't have the right to do that to me. And they would never, like, want to lose you or alienate. So I didn't worry about losing them, or, they're young, they're smart, they'll figure out that this is okay. Little ones, I wasn't worried at all, because we've kind of been through that. We were gay, and the big kids adjusted.
Kids adjust.
Our parents are liberal and they understand. Our friends are. I just didn't feel like anyone would be weirded out, including me. I didn't think, like, once you're a guy, I won't, like, be attracted or love you or see you the same. It was kind of not a big deal.
This is a good one from Nubita. Couple question. Do you get approached into more male-female stereotypes, like waiters handing Sam the bill, people asking Steph more, do you have kids questions, or expecting her to comfort the kids when in public? People asking Sam questions in different order, like more politics or cars or gadgets. So have we noticed it? I know that there's one occasion where it was kind of obvious. We went to the doctor, to our pediatrician, and Steph was asking questions and the doctor was addressing me in his answers, and I thought, wow, that's new. And then she asked another question, and then he did it again.
He is like 90.
So that was kind of the first time that I thought, like, wow, that's really, because people, transgender guys, have been telling me this, and I've read about this, like, wow, in the workplace things really change. People respect you more. There's like a level of authority that you get all of a sudden when you present as a man, and I haven't, I feel like I've gotten a lot of respect in my job, so I haven't noticed a big difference, but that was kind of a good example of how it might be different.
Besides that example, and really, an older guy. But I think it's too early to tell, and I might start watching for it just for fun. I don't know. People always kind of give the person with the shorter hair the bill, don't you think? We've noticed that all along, that you would always get the bill.
Please write down in the comments if you're a lesbian couple whether the shorter hair one between the two of you is getting the bill, because now I really want to know whether that's a thing. From Marianne to you. Yeah, finally, Steph. She's very excited that you're doing this. So my question for her, what was your first thought when Sam said or questioned that he might be trans?
Here we go again.
Again, what?
I think I'm going to make a new record. I think I'm going to join this. You always have.
You're making a new album to transition?
Well, that's what I first thought. Like, you're not going to do it. You just want to dig into something new. Like, you're perpetually restless.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
So we've come to a
join the fire
place. Oh, perfect example. I caught Sam coming out of an army recruiting office one time. I see the car pulling out, and I look, and I'm like, it couldn't be.
That may have happened.
These are the things that happen. So I really thought at first,
crisis.
like, all right, we're on vacation, things are a little slow, and that's when you said you were going to do that. But, I mean, that's just first thought.
First thought, yeah.
Yeah.
You were pretty cool. You were right away like, yeah, make the phone call. Let's figure this out. You weren't freaking out.
No.
Probably because you didn't believe me.
Same with the fire department. I remember helping you fill out those applications. Like, this is just some thing you wanted.
She's never going to get that job.
Can't even do a push-up.
Hey, I could. I had to do push-ups to get that job. All right, next. This is a good one. From Anya. What were you most afraid of? Which part of Sarah did you think you were going to miss the most? And how did it turn out? Looks or personality?
I know this. As a lesbian couple, we always thought we had it better than everyone because we had best friends in each other. We really felt like we could talk about anything, and we often talked about, like, well, that's what she gets for marrying a man. You're going to marry a man, you're going to have girlfriends because the guy can only
do so much.
Yeah. And I'm talking to you, Rico. As cool as men can be, I felt like we had such a better way about it. And we still do, because growing up a woman and our long history, I don't feel like I lost anything. I still have like a lesbian relationship, but then I have like the perks of having a strong testosterone driven man around to do all the man stuff. And I don't know.
Open the champagne for you.
It's not such a big deal. I can open it when you're out of town.
You drink champagne when I travel?
No.
All right.
The day you leave.
Yeah.
You're getting sunburned.
From Rachel. What is the most positive thing that has changed between you, if anything changed at all?
The most positive thing is that I've been able to feel like a really good friend and partner, and you've been able to feel like it's not always you taking care of me. I can be there for you. I think it's a greater understanding between us. Like, all women feel like they look in the mirror and they see something that's like, oh, if I didn't have fat right there, let me pull this in on my waist and I'll look a little better. But then for me to really understand for you, like, that's not what it is. It's really like, I'm looking at myself in the mirror and that's not how I feel until I look. Like, for me to understand that about you, that dysphoria of your body shape, curves, is different than what I feel. Like, oh, 5 pounds off, this would be a really good looking outfit on me. That's different. And that greater understanding between us is the best thing that's happened to me. Like, we're even closer. And that's something you can only get when you go through something and you've been with each other a long time. So I'm grateful for that.
From Jasmine. My question is for both of you. How easy or hard was the decision to make the transition? Much like when I came out as a lesbian 20 years ago, the hardest part is not knowing what part to trust about yourself. So I'm an impulsive person and I like change and I don't shy away from change. So I feel like I always have to separate, like, is this something I really want or do I just want something different because it sounds exciting and it sounds fun? So don't always trust myself, and that made it really hard. The fact that I'm transgender and I have to go through life now as a transgender man is way less difficult than just not knowing, really knowing who you are. And so that made the decision hard for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I'm a little more practical. You're more like, is this the right path or not? Just someone tell me if it's right, and then I'll deal with all the little things. And I more want to make like a pro and con list and say, okay, you could lose your voice, which means people might not want to come to your shows. Plus, I like to hear you sing. I make my best chili when you have your guitar at the kitchen, and I can, just hear that. I thought I'll miss that, and I still wonder if that's going to be a big thing if it happens. And I worried about that, and like grieved it, and yeah, we wondered about like the medical part, like, oh, a shot every 2 weeks, and then you're like locked into the pharmaceutical
For the rest of your
industry
life.
and your insurance and pre-existing condition, and what it would be like to go to the gynecologist. Like, I kept thinking, like, is this going to be too much, trading one set of issues for another? And I think that was the hardest part for me, is saying this is like having kids. If you make a pros and cons list, it's con, right? Kids cost a ton. They mostly aren't grateful. They, screw up and you get called from the principal. Like, I mean, it's hard, but then you still end up, for us, choosing kids and then more kids because of the like meaning and and that just feels right. So it's the same. It's like, well, let's just do that because it seems like that's what we're supposed to do. It feels like the path, even though it was full of like, you
stop thinking about all the hardship that comes with it once it feels right. We are almost through our bottle of champagne, so it's time to wrap it up. I am starting to wonder how we're going to get off this roof. Partly lit, but our babysitter's down
Sleep
there
here.
with our kids. I'm sure she'll help us down. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know a lot of you guys were wondering about what this was like for my immediate family, and you were hoping to hear from Steph personally. I liked it that she answered some questions. I had fun. I hope you did too. Please share if you think someone else might benefit from watching this. Turn on your notifications if you want to know when the next vlog drops. And as always, I love you. I appreciate you. Hang loose.